I first encountered the Labyrinth through Jean Houston. I went to a conference with her and actually worked with her in 1985 for a whole year. And this was in '91. I was on a month sabbatical time. I had been working at Grace Cathedral in the AIDS ministry by that time for 4 years. And I was really burnt out. And so I went there. I called Jean and said, gee, I have a little time. Can I come join? And she said, of course. And that was my question. What's my next step? I thought I was going to leave Grace Cathedral. I thought I was going to be needing to do something entirely different. And Jean that evening just simply talked briefly about the Labyrinth and put it on the floor. We used it not as what we're calling now meditative walking. We used it quite differently. But that was my first time, and then it was really enough for me to get curious and go over to Chartres Cathedral and, you know, as part of my, quote, research, I knew it was on the floor, even actually before Jean talked about it. And I knew it was under chairs, and it hadn't been used for many, well, hundreds of years. And just by synchronicity, as things have it, there were going to be 6 people from the congregation of Grace Cathedral over there at the same time. So I organized a little meeting and said, well, let's get permission to walk it. And we didn't. We couldn't find anybody to give permission to. We didn't know that the rector at that time was not at the helm of the cathedral in Chartres. So we walked in there and looked at it and counted the chairs, 256 of them, and looked at each other and said, nah, let's go get some coffee and croissants. Let's think about this. And then we came back about an hour later and moved the chairs. And we didn't know at that time there was a service downstairs. When we came back, there was a service downstairs. So there was no one to interrupt us or help us or whatever they were going to do. And so we moved the chairs and joined hands, said a prayer, and I had the privilege of going in first and just simply walked the Labyrinth. And about 25 people, 30 maybe, from people who had just walked in the cathedral knew what we were doing and joined us. So we had about an hour to ourselves in the Labyrinth. And the thing that struck me so much was there was just such an incredible feeling of joy throughout the cathedral. And the way I describe it is that someone like took handfuls of stardust and just threw them all into the air. It was just this wonderful, wonderful kind of golden feel to the air in the cathedral. And that was confirmation that indeed, wow, this is really something wonderfully prayerful, powerful, meditative. It certainly quieted my mind. And that really helped us make the decision that we were going to have it at Grace Cathedral.